everybody. My name's Rachel Udamapu, and I'm pleased to come to you tonight with our Look Good Q&A session for June. I can't believe how fast our year is going, and I hope wherever you are around the country that you're sitting there lovely and warm and nice and wrapped up. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce the lovely Robyn and Julie. They are cancer rehabilitation physiotherapists from CancerFit. They bring over 25 years of combined experience to this wonderful, empowering session. It's designed specifically for those living with cancer. It also is going to offer practical tips on evidence-based strategies to manage pain through movement, mindset, and nutrition. So whether you're in your treatment or you're navigating life and beyond, Robyn and Julie are going to guide you through with some wonderful compassion and their expertise to help you feel more comforted, supported, and in control. So Robyn and Julie, over to you, wonderful ladies.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for having us. It's great, absolutely great to be here again and spending time with you all. All right, so I'm Robyn.
And I'm Julie.
Yep, and we wanted to, talk to pain as a topic, especially because it's such a big thing for so many people. So should we get into that?
Yeah, let's dive in.
So we would love a little bit of feedback from everyone online at the moment. We're guessing that you probably are experiencing some sort of pain because you're here with us today. But we'd love to know sort of maybe a little bit so we can make sure that we cover off things for you, sort of whether you've had pain for a long time, whether this is just since your cancer diagnosis, since treatment, whether it's, you're right, just in an acute phase, or whether it's been a while for you. So if you just are able to just type in the chat box, if you can find that, just so we make sure that we just understand who we're talking to a little bit. Just give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too much detail, just
No.
a bit of an overview.
Yep. We know it's the thing with pain is that it's never really a simple thing, and that's exactly why we're wanting to do this topic today. But yeah. Okay.
In our experience, pain is one of the most common side effects that we hear about and encounter. And obviously surgery is a big part, lymphedema also. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Thank you so much for these. A lot directly linked with diagnosis and treatments. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Yep, neuropathies. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully this will give so many ideas and different strategies and thoughts that you can maybe bring in to your plan of management. So okay, so yeah.
We're focusing on pain. As you can see, everyone here has got a focus reason for being here, but we're physiotherapists, and that's where a lot of the realm that we are working in deals with pain, and it's for all sorts of different reasons. It can be a fall in the garden. In this instance, it's about those treatments, it's about surgery, it's any number of different things. And I think we've all had a personal experience, haven't we, with pain? And sometimes pain's short-lived. You deal with it, and the body's incredible at how it can deal with pain. But sometimes it becomes persistent, And we're hoping to give you some strategies, ideas to look at for solutions to your pain, and finding the options and suggesting options that might work for you. And we do hope that you'll go away with a better understanding of what pain is, and also how you can make sense of your own personal experience with that pain.
I have had sort of chronic back or persistent lower back pain for many years when I hurt my back at 13. So I've also putting in like little strategies and tips and thoughts that have actually helped me throughout my pain experience, shall we say, but it's all, it's also relative, and like pain is pain. And it's just trying to find what works for you. So hopefully that would be quite helpful as well.
Yeah, and this is the reality of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The solutions can be a bit overwhelming, to be fair, especially when you're looking long-term treatment and the side effects that go with that. Unfortunately, we'd love to be able to just click our fingers and say, this is the fix, but there aren't any quick fixes, really. It's slow progress, which can be frustrating, and it might feel like it's taking a lot of energy to get that to that point.
It's hard when you're trying to deal with pain at the same time as trying to solve it as well, because some of the solutions are really daunting. Sort of to get active because you're in pain, it sort of seems really counterintuitive, and you're like, oh, but I might make it worse, and it's so hard to get started. So hopefully we'll give you some really good strategies as well. And it varies so much from person to person, so hopefully there'll be a variety of things that you might be able to try and put into your plan. So I guess looking at the empowered pain relief kind of model, we really want you to feel in control, and using some evidence-based sort of approaches. We really encourage those small shifts in healthy habits, which can really improve that pain experience. And the biggest thing is that improvements may not mean completely being pain-free, but if you are able to set goals, achieve your goals, get more function, have a better quality of life, but maybe still have some pain, then that's still a progression and an improvement. And actually some people really value that as well. So hopefully we'll find something that really resonates with you today. So another little question. What is your understanding of pain? Why do we feel pain? If anyone's got any thoughts or ideas, so pop it in the chat box. Because it's a very complex thing, but some people,
it's a big question.
It is a big question. If there's anyone got any ideas? Give me a minute.
We're asking the tough question.
We are a tough question. I think it's really important to start thinking about what it is, because if you can understand it better, then hopefully the strategies can make more sense. Okay, so some of the answers: message and a warning system to take note of what's happening with the body and pay attention. Got swelling as an answer to remind our body to protect the areas that have been affected. Could be the medications we're taking or massage. Body telling us something is out of balance. Beautiful. Okay, so interestingly,
so pain, there was a couple of answers there that are absolutely on the bookmark. It's a protective response, and it's all coming from your brain. So we now know that 100% of time that the pain is being recognized and produced in the brain, and that's all types of pain, whether it be sharp, strong, dull, achy, whatever, whatever it is. So if you've been told in the past that the pain's all in your head, as much as that might be a hard message to receive and kind of process, it's actually true. And it's alerting the body to potential danger, and the tissue damage is what prompts that protective response. So maybe in the past, if that concept of it being in your head hasn't been explained clearly, we hope that we're going to give you a better sense of that today.
And to give you sort of an example of that, your brain is trying to make the decision of whether to stimulate that pain response or not. So your brain 100% decides. So if you just imagine the scenario of walking through a field or, up on the hills or something, and you roll your ankle, the majority of people would experience pain. Absolutely. Now, in a slightly different scenario, if you're walking through that field, that same field, you roll your ankle, but you're being chased by a raging bull. Your brain needs to decide what is the biggest risk right now and what do you need for survival. So it's very likely that the brain will go, okay, the bull is a bigger threat right now than the injury to your ankle, and it won't trigger pain so that you can continue running to get away from the bull, which is so mind-blowing that this is a situation. And you might have seen it on movies or the news, how incredible stories of people not realizing that they were severely injured because they were in that survival mode or bleeding, but kind of just focus on other things.
Responding to danger, really.
Yeah, and it's not until later on. So it's really, really interesting because so many of us we are literally experiencing this pain in this area, and it's restricting us and it's stopping us from doing things. And that's more due to that body sensitivity and the hypersensitivity of the body and the brain. So yeah, I think just keeping that in mind when we're looking at strategies and management is really important and quite helpful, I think, so that we can just try and think of what the brain might need to relax some of those raging bull responses. So a couple of types of pain.
Yes. So acute pain, it's usually something that's going to happen over weeks or months. It doesn't really linger any longer than that. And it's the sort of thing that happens when you have a cut, sprain, and surgery. I was unlucky enough to jam my finger in the car door 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and that was acute pain. I'll share that. I had to do some deep breathing to get through that one. And generally with an acute type of injury and then the subsequent pain, you'll be encouraged to stay active as opposed to taking time off. Your main advice will be strategies for how to manage swelling, to get that body part back in order, and you'll gradually get back quite quickly to the normal things for work, for your hobbies, for your exercise.
So this, I think somebody had put about being post-op and in a lot of pain. So that absolutely is common with that initial tissue damage and surgery. And it's kind of more, just that short term. So when we're looking at sort of the persistent or chronic pain, we're looking at more the 3 months or more time frame. Some people might have it for years. I had my lower back pain for many years. So totally. And it's really important to know at that point that tissue damage is often not the main issue, and majority of soft tissue and bone healing is kind of complete unless you're having acute episodes like time and time again. And it just makes it way more complicated to resolve because there's so many other factors then come into play. I know we kind of it's making it sound like it's like impossible, and it's not impossible to manage, but it's just good to be aware of. So 1 in 6 people in New Zealand have persistent pain. That was kind of a recent study. So it's a big thing that people are putting up with at the moment. The brain continues to produce pain even after the body tissues are restored and you're out of that danger zone, but it's continuing to say it's painful, watch out. There might be, I'm worried about this area. It often concerns people that there might be something still wrong in that area. Usually, if anything serious is ruled out by your medical team, you can be reassured that, most things in the body is healed as well as they can be between that 3 and 6 months. So, looking at the ongoing pain, it's less about the structural changes and more about the sensitivity of that nervous system and what is stimulating the brain to continue telling us that there's pain. Yeah. Do you want to talk to that? Just had
I think,
a question come up about inflammatory diseases and bone mets that are causing pain ongoing because the tissues are affected.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, definitely the overlying thing with that as well is, things that can be affected with movement. And so you're talking about how's that affecting the bony structures of the body, how that's affecting muscle, tendon. So there's so much complexity with that. And then is there some masking because of the medications that are part of that as well? So that's why it's so complex, is that layering of things that become affect that overall effect.
And there might be regular acute episodes in that, so it is really, really challenging. For sure. So what we want to cover is quite a few things around factors that might be impacting on persistent pain, and then you might decide, oh, this is something I need to look at, and maybe this and this. But just if we're sharing it with you, then you can kind of come up with a bit of a plan for yourself.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously pain is one of the more common reported side effects during treatment, as we mentioned earlier. It can be from surgery, and then sometimes an activity that comes with that, general stress, other side effects. So that's a big picture situation. But we know that persistent pain, it's if you have get some relief from it, obviously that's brilliant, but we know how much that can impact on every part of life, and it's something that obviously we're wanting to be able to get that improvement about. And you don't actually have to put up with it. And one of the things I think over the years we've been so surprised at is how long people put up with pain but haven't perhaps known what to do about it. So we hope if you do come out of this with perhaps a renewed optimism around
I love that.
Having solutions and strategies, then we'll be really, really happy with that.
So another thing that might be impacting on things of thinking about medications that you're taking to maybe help with the pain.
And I think, because, as we've already said, the brain is one of the big drivers when it comes to pain. It's kind of got its own opinion about what's going on and what needs to happen. So medications are going to mask that to a degree. So in our world of physiotherapy, we would always look at using an active approach to help with that brain retraining, the reassurance it needs, and, to calm down some of that sensitivity. Medication, obviously, we're talking not so much cancer-based medications, but the kind of anti-inflammatory or pain relief type medications. And it's not an ideal long-term strategy. And again, we are not medical doctors. It's not for us to be prescribing these things, but that's just in general what we would see. And that it is a great way to start perhaps managing pain better, but they should be tapered off and hopefully ceased eventually.
I think we so often see the cycle that because of pain, people just take your medication and then not as active, so then the pain gets worse, and then they have to take more medication, and they're not sleeping, and then they've got to take sleeping pills as well as the medication, and they've got to keep upping it, and it's there's so many other things that hopefully can start improving people's experience.
Definitely has an impact.
So the next part I'd like to talk to is around stress and fear. And this is something that's really, really common with people that have had a cancer diagnosis. And that's because of this fight, flight, or freeze response that we get. It's really, really key to realize, to know that this is such a natural reaction for all of us humans. We are animals at the end of the day, and it's a natural thing.
Primitive response, isn't it?
That if we are under threat in whatever way that is, and it could be you've just had a diagnosis, it could be, like you're going to sit an exam, or you could be having another scan. Okay, so in those situations, we start to feel stress. We go into this fight or flight response. And after that situation and that threat has gone, we should come back down to our normal baseline. So an example of this is here. So as we're feeling nice, we should be nice and calm and relaxed day to day. And then as we go into that situation, we might peak. A big example for us in Christchurch was the earthquakes. Like, that is an extreme reaction, but that is survival. What are we going to do? And then when we come out of that situation and we start to feel safe, we should come back down to our baseline, relaxed, and all of our hormones are running beautifully, normal, everything's balanced, our mind is relaxed, we can switch off, and that is a really good space to be. That's where we can be creative. That's where we can fully rest and repair. Okay, but what happens sometimes after repeated stresses? And this absolutely is that cancer experience for many people. So it's, the highs constantly of stress, of the not knowing, the treatments, the impact financially, the impact on your families, like everything is just up constantly, up. Not to mention day-to-day life that we all have. Is that your body decides and your brain decides that when we're not quite safe at the moment. If we think back to caveman days, we're in our cave and there's saber-toothed tigers outside, and we feel a threat. So we don't feel quite safe. And so the body decides that it's not going to come back down to this baseline relaxed. It's going to stay in this state of readiness. So it's just slightly
elevated,
tense, because then it's ready to go for the next thing. It's going to be in a much better state to be able to survive and allow you to get out of that situation, technically, if you're a flight. So this is where this starts to impact on our pain experience and our life day to day, anxiety, our brain. I love the analogy of our brain being the meerkat brain, so like on alert constantly for threats. And this, sometimes people that like to say that they are active relaxers, because when they actually come down and they sit and they stop, it feels really, really uncomfortable, because that meerkat brain, and because you've been in such a threat for so long, it doesn't feel safe down here. It's not a safe space. So if you go back into your state of readiness, that feels good. You feel safe, you feel in control, you feel ready to go. And it's really interesting if you start to recognize that, when the phone rings, you're not just, oh, the phone's ringing. It's like, who is it?
Something's wrong.
What is it? Like, is it another appointment, or is it results, or, things like that. So this is where it really affects us, because if we're trying to recover from a shoulder injury, a neck injury, a lower back injury, or treatments, but we are slightly tense all the time without knowing it because this is our new normal, then that's really, really hard to fully relax and fully recover from things. So there are ways that you can start to try and improve this, but does this resonate with anyone? Does anyone recognize already that they hold stress in a particular part of their body? You can type it in if you do.
Yeah, we'd be interested to know what areas you're aware of that you would hold stress. I'm an absolute jaw tension.
Your jaw, yeah.
I'm a grinder. That's where my stress hangs out.
So when I first came to Christchurch, I was working in mental health, and I was working with a physio in mental health, and she explained what I'm going to go through in a minute, and I realized that my right glute would just always be clenched when I was tense, and that absolutely was affecting my lower back.
Neck and shoulders.
Neck and shoulders, yep, shoulders.
Yeah.
Really interestingly, what I'm going to go through, like if you just focus purely on your shoulders and go, I can't relax my shoulder. I've tried so many times. If you don't look at the whole body, then you are up against it. There's no way, because your whole body is going to be in this state of readiness and you may not have that awareness yet. Stress all over your body.
Oh, massage. Great.
Beautiful.
Way to be proactive.
You will get that so much out of your massages if you can sustain like that period of relaxation afterwards though as well. So hopefully you can get some
tension everywhere.
Yeah, shoulders and jaw.
Yeah, it's all about that state of readiness.
And it's interesting if you're noticing at nighttime, people that grind their teeth at night, because you will absolutely be doing it throughout the day without realizing. So hopefully this will be really, really helpful for a lot of you then. Cool. This is an area I just find it so fascinating. So I want to go through the common areas of stress, tension, and why. So the jaw, first off, go back to caveman days. How we survive is through eating. If we don't have teeth, we wouldn't have been able to, consume meat or back in the day. So if a threat is coming towards us, say, for instance, if someone is going to hit us, we would clench our teeth to protect our teeth because a survival instinct. But as soon as we clench our teeth, it affects all the muscles down into our neck, and they can produce trigger points, and some people get headaches behind their eyes and in the back of their necks as well. So all of that tension through our jaw. The next one is through our shoulders. And the jaw, because it goes all the way down, the shoulders will come up slightly because of that jaw tension. Shoulders are another one. So we want to prepare the body to fight or to run. So the shoulders will come up, ready for action.
Yeah.
Next one, your hands. So some people realize that they grip their hands tightly. They might hold the steering wheel tightly when they're driving, might hold their pen really tightly, or they might fiddle a lot with their hands. Yeah, Julie, you're a fiddler as well. So they'll fiddle with their hands because they want that blood flow ready to fight or to run. The next one, we're going to the lower back. So the lower back is a really interesting one. So your abdominals will tighten to pull you forwards into that fetal protect mode or ready for running. There's a couple of issues there. Often when we tighten our tummy muscles without really realizing, it puts a lot of pressure through our lower back. So a lot of people get pain through that lower back. It also means that your diaphragm, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later, but the diaphragm can't drop down into that space to breathe with, and your diaphragm is the most efficient muscle for breathing. So then you take shorter, shallow breaths from the very top of your lungs, and that raises your shoulders because you want to get the air up here. You end up breathing faster and shorter, and that kicks off your fight or flight response as well. And the other thing is that if your diaphragm isn't pulsing nicely on your gut, then it can affect your digestion because it really helps with digestion. So there's quite a lot around your tummy to be aware of. Next one's your legs. So I was talking about my glute, but a lot of people might find that their thighs get achy or tired or tense. Their hamstrings, they're big powerhouses. They're going to get them out of that situation. They might jiggle them a lot, those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sitting here jiggling. She caught me out.
And the last thing is your feet. So some people just shake their feet, tapping their heel. Some people will claw their toes. Yeah, and then that increases the tension up your legs, into your stomach. You can't breathe, so your shoulders come up. So there's a whole body system that is going on for a lot of people without even that awareness. So that's where I'd probably recommend people start with, and that's that awareness side of things. Once you're more aware of it, then you can actually start making a change. If I said to you, just go and relax, oh, I am relaxed, as you're like up and down like 20 times.
You're normal.
So maybe just sitting here right now, maybe just try and think through these areas with me. So the first one, you just want to freeze in the position that you're in. And you're going to think about from head to toe. So jaw, is it clenched or can you just let it go? So if you bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth, like when you say the letter N, it brings it up. And it's really, that's where your tongue is most relaxed. So it's really, really hard to clench your jaw when your tongue is relaxed. Next one, shoulders, just let them flop. Hands, let them just sit nicely in your lap or next to you. Tummy, sit right back into your chair. So you can have good posture, but you want to sit back and let your tummy go. Legs, just give them a flop. Feet nicely sitting, planted. And the big one is then you feel the difference. And it might feel really, really uncomfortable initially because it might not be your normal. And suddenly you'll kind of want to move and you'll get back into this protective state. But the more you practice it, the more you freeze, the more that you recognize what your body is doing and how often it's doing it is going to hopefully help bring that body awareness.
Unwind, yeah.
Yeah. And then hopefully you'll learn what it actually feels like to be relaxed. And hopefully that will help, allow you to focus on all the things that will help your overall picture. The other great thing is that when we are in that fight or flight state, we have cortisol that gets released, which is a really critical hormone for survival. But when it's constantly released, it actually has quite a negative effect on our overall health. So we want to lower that cortisol level. That helps with sleep, it helps with relaxation, it helps with so much. Inflammation,
everything,
which impacts pain.
All
So
hormones, balance. There's a really interesting question just come in about the relationship between tension and mindfulness.
Huge.
Yeah. The trigger points that Robyn was referring to when you have that prolonged tension in your muscles is so critical in the sense of activating the tension that then changes the relationship of all the structures in our body. It creates tension through the neural tissues, the supporting tissues, things like the fascia. So admittedly, there are some migraines that are more of a vascular nature, but I would guarantee that there is some relationship when there's a tension background in amongst there as well. Yeah.
Fab. So that's definitely something a few of you might want to be trying. So another area about fatigue, we actually had a question around sleep as well. So yeah, it's key one.
Yeah. So fatigue is another big side effect that we hear about constantly. And the reason why we want to talk about it here is because it has such a massive impact on pain and how we, can tolerate pain. And when you are fatigued, your nervous system just becomes more sensitive. And as we said before, all those things that are part of that means that maybe things that are part of you that wouldn't normally hurt or might, something, I don't know, like me squishing my finger in the car door, it might have been more of a mild discomfort, can be perceived as being much more painful. So that's that lowered pain threshold that can really influence how much pain you're feeling. The pain suppression, so when you have this built-in system in your brain for suppressing the pain, you get little hormones like endorphins that actually help to change that pain. And so when you have a fatigue issue that's ongoing, it just simply weakens that system and makes it harder for your brain, your body to sort of dampen down those pain signals. So again, it's about that sensitivity. Inflammation, also talked about as a response for, some of the cancer effect. So it's a low-level inflammatory chemical, and there's all sorts of big words. Cytokines is one of them. That's can actually sensitize nerves and make pain more intense or even spread. So again, fatigue will increase an inflammatory response, so your pain will therefore be worse. Muscle weakness and tension. So yeah, I think everyone's aware of when you're feeling a bit tired, you haven't slept well, that you're just you get tired faster, don't you? Try and go do something physical, you just your muscles feel tight, you're overworked, and especially if they're already loaded with tension, then your tolerance will be a lot less. Fatigue with respect to how it affects mood. Well, obviously fatigue is closely linked to poor sleep, low mood, and when you're not sleeping well, gosh, it's hard, isn't it? It's a tough one.
And just on that, with the stress tension response, if you are slightly tense all day and you've got this cortisol pumping all day, and you go to lie down at night and you're like, oh, why can't I sleep? Your body's in that
You've got no
state,
chance,
right?
really, have you?
No. Or you might fall asleep quite well because you're exhausted and your body is exhausted, but then that meerkat brain is not allowing you to go into that deeper level of sleep, which is what you need for rest and repair. So it will then wake you, and your brain is like, wah, 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 wah. And it's really beautiful. Like if you can get a better control of your body and let it go more, then your brain can start switching off as well, and we can let that meerkat go to sleep for a little bit, and you can get better quality sleep.
And it's quite a recent concept that when you sleep, your brain is also having the toxins and things that are associated with its job being flushed out. So it's being rinsed as such. And if you aren't in the right kind of rest and sleep, then that just simply doesn't happen. So again, it's about the health of the brain.
Cool. All right,
so Robyn's mentioned her diaphragm and how important it is. So there's just so much research that we're aware of that's coming out around a simple thing. We think about, oh, I'm breathing all day long, but it's how we breathe and using that to our best advantage that makes a difference. So it's something you can control. And all these things that are in these boxes that you're seeing have been proven by research to make a difference, just the act of breathing well. So there's all sorts of research showing that practicing diaphragmatic breathing can lower pain intensity. And this has been done in research where they've got quantitative data coming through. Reducing cortisol, reducing stress, activating your parasympathetic nervous system. So when we're talking flight, fight, or freeze, that's our sympathetic nervous system. We want the rest and digest system to be prevalent when we're trying to get into that relaxed and bringing our baseline down. And even research that's been published in the Journal of anesthesia, wasn't it? Anesthesia? Yes, it was. Found that patients who practiced deep breathing techniques pre and post surgery reported less pain and used fewer pain medications. So they have actually done this and found that it's a positive option. So we just thought it would be really good, just rather than talking to it, to show you a little bit to do with the diaphragmatic breathing, and that it's going to always work for you wherever you are, whether you're in your work or you're just feeling a bit overwhelmed for whatever reason.
I was doing some before tonight. Feeling a bit nervous.
And it could be, yes, just before you're going in to see your medical person, or if you're not sleeping at night, then it is a strategy that you can use that can help you actually get to that sleep point and calm you down, and put you in a better mode.
It literally changes the blood flow in your brain from fight or flight around the brainstem to eat, sleep, rest, and digest area of your brain after 15 minutes of purely using your diaphragm to breathe.
And you might even
It's your
see
tummy breathing.
If you watch a lot of sports, the sports teams, when they've got a rest point or a timeout or whatever, they'll actually stand in a group and take deep breaths. Well, that's what they're doing. They're trying to bring themselves down from that stress point and lower that. So hopefully then they make better decisions. There's more blood in their brain. So that could be the difference.
Very cool.
So when you're looking at doing your breathing, essentially you want to have, I call it mindful breathing, because you're trying to achieve, a breath that comes not, as Robyn suggested, into the upper chest, but into the belly. So if you put a hand on your upper chest and on your belly around about your tummy button area and take a deep breath, just have a wee try of that, in through the nose, out through your mouth. And you want to breathe in for 3 to 4 seconds, as you can see with the graphic on screen. You want to breathe in with the solid circle and breathe out as you see the diminishing circles.
Just using your tummy.
And you don't want to feel that air coming into your chest. You want to come into your tummy, and you want to feel the ribs move slightly, but you also want to feel it happening in behind. So don't forget the diaphragm's attaching to the ribs in the back as well. So although you've got your hand on your tummy, you're going to feel that air going into the posterior part of your trunk as well. So try and keep that top hand, the one on the chest, nice and still, and bring the air into your belly. It actually takes a bit of concentration to get that right.
And it does take practice, and it does take focus, and it's really, really hard to do when you are in that stress, tension, elevated state.
Ready
so
to go,
if you do your scan first and then try, you'll have a much better success rate at that.
And even doing it for 5 minutes every couple of hours can really help on that reset.
All right, so getting into what we're particularly passionate about is around movement, and really graded but general, graded kind of intensity to start getting moving. So many people end up becoming more sedentary, unfortunately, after a cancer diagnosis, because of often the treatments or the cancer itself. And we really want to try and help give you permission to get started, which should also help with pain. Good nutrition, we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. Obviously, reducing stress and improving relaxation. We've given you some strategies around that. Sleep habits is a whole section on itself, so we can do that. If you are a smoker, stopping smoking can make a big difference with pain, and also reducing the alcohol or stopping it completely. I've been 3.5 years without alcohol now, so you can do it, I promise. But all these things in our day-to-day modern society are really contributing to a sensitized nervous system, and the less that we can have those stimulants and things, the better, really. So into why would we get moving when you're in pain? Oh, so many benefits. So it definitely reduces pain over time, and I know it's really hard and daunting to get started. Find something that really helps and works for you. It could just be getting in to a pool that's the warmer pool in the spa section at your local pool or something, and just getting some movement going until you can build that confidence up. It can improve your strength and flexibility. which obviously allows less strain on painful areas. It can boost your mood and mental health, which is wonderful. And that really helps with pain as well. Having more energy, it helps improve your sleep. So hopefully get better quality sleep is helpful. And that body awareness and control. So gentle movements, getting moving in a really safe way is so, so good. And I think that was also a really important change for me as well, just learning to move in a different way. An example of that, of how to get started, is, say for me, I would, for years and years and years, and I literally have been a physio for years as well, and it's so interesting when you take yourself in it as
it's your experience,
as a patient rather than a clinician. But I was protecting my back like everything. I was bending my knees all the time, and I was so sore every morning. And it wasn't until a colleague sort of said just a few years ago, like, oh, how would you pick up a pen? And I'd bend my knees and I'd keep my back straight and I hold my breath and I'd pick up this pen. And he's like, why are you doing that? Like, your back is designed to move, it's designed to bend. Like, you don't need to be protecting it. And it was, yeah, so interesting thinking about what my normal movement pattern was. So I had to retrain, I had to sit first and learn to bend again and all these things. But we make adjustments to try and protect ourselves. It's this brain again.
Yeah.
Our wonderful brains that want to keep us
going
safe.
for the safe option.
Yeah.
So with movement, warming up using dynamic movements. So dynamic movements are kind of recreating the movements that you're planning to do as part of your sport or whichever exercise that you're chosen to do. So it's really important that you're not giving your body a surprise, that it's somewhat aware of what's coming.
Beginning lower intensity and gradually building up. And I think something around, we had a question around sort of how do you know what you should be doing when you're exercising, and the visual analog scale is
it's a big name for quite a simple concept, really, isn't it? So we if you've had experience with a medical practitioner, often they'll say, okay, what's your pain like? So 0 obviously would be no pain. 10 is perhaps the worst pain you've experienced or worst pain imaginable, at that high level 10. And if you've got moderate pain, we would expect you to say, okay, it's between a 4 and a 6. So when you're exercising, you can use that same concept to exercise in the right zone. So if you have moderate pain, then if you're exercising maybe up to a level of a 4 and below that, then you're exercising and adjusting activities to make sure that you're not pushing that pain. So it's a really simple but effective way of just making sure that you're keeping in your target pain level, and that if you have to adapt, that you can, and there should be enough support, hopefully, that you're getting that will help you recognize that and adjust accordingly.
Cool. Other things you can do to get started, making sure you do a nice cool down. And stretch afterwards so that you don't kind of get as much DOMS the next day, like a delayed muscle onset of pain. And just reassessing the activity sort of after it and the following day to just help guide the next one. Okay, how did I feel during that? Do I need to change? Do I need to make something easier?
Well, you can do the VAS and do it before, during, and then after, and that gives you a better measure of what you felt with that activity.
And remember, you may still have pain whilst you do it, but it's just allowing the brain to trust that you're safe and that it can start desensitizing from there. I'm conscious of time and we've got a few things to go with.
Nutrition.
So we'll touch on this, and absolutely
Yes, and again, we are not dietitians or
No.
experts in any shape or form. This is things
Just to
that
give
we
some little
have,
tips.
learnt ourselves along the way, and things that we've found are, worth following and can make a difference. And it's all about facilitating that anti-inflammatory type of diet that, is really powerful for the gut. So you're going to do your foods, likes of your omega-3 fatty acids, salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, all those good things, and vegetables, berries, all your cherries and oranges, they're all packed with anti-inflammatory properties. Your vegetables, obviously your greenies, are the good ones. And it's all about high in vitamins, minerals, fiber, and it's all that helps the gut and combat any inflammatory issues. And then spices that we might like to add in as well. So there's just a list of good options, and those are things that you want to add into your diet.
And then foods that you could eat less of, I guess. Just the processed stuff. I think it's all out there all the time of how it can impact on us, but definitely reducing the impact of that could potentially improve your pain. And then certain oils, those high in omega-6 fatty acids found in some vegetable oils as well. So just trying to be conscious of choices, I guess.
We always go on about it, don't we? Hydration, just drink. I mean, there's lots of different values that are thrown out there. And again, it depends, what time of year it is, what environment you're in, whether you're exercising or not. But, as a general rule, I think sort of that 2 to 3 liters a day is what's recommended. Again, that's up to the individual. It's not one of those things that's easy to pinpoint as being, and even the difference between guys and women. I have seen different figures put together for that. But I think if you're doing like around the 2.5 liters a day, you're doing really well. That's,
and just remember all your caffeinated drinks, your tea, your coffee, alternatives,
Red Bulls or whatever.
Jeepers. They do dehydrate you, so you do need to up your water intake if you are drinking those as well. So do remember that. Just said, is coconut oil good for you? Stay away from fish. So you can potentially look at other anti-inflammatory type foods specific to you, and probably go and chat to a nutritionalist about that. Specifically.
Yes, I've heard coconut oil is good, macadamia oil also, and of course, you've just got to see what works best for you. And a lot of that's from my own personal experience. I think you need to speak to someone who's an expert in that area.
Sounds good. So looking at persistent pain, there's also just a couple of extra things we want to throw in there, and that's partly from our own experiences, but as physios, but personally as well, which can really impact, and it's really we thought valuable to be sharing this as well. So past pain, what you've experienced before might be impacting on your pain experience now. So for me, with my sort of back flare-ups every so often, it would be that, I can't bend, I can't run because I might hurt myself, I can't lift, with bending over because I might hurt myself. Like, my beliefs were becoming all-consuming and affecting my day-to-day world. So it's your own beliefs, and so that can sometimes be worthwhile questioning. What is my belief around this pain? Do I think that it could be something else going on? Am I worried about recurrence? Like all these things. Or has the surgery affected X, Y, and Z? Like, just stopping and taking note of your beliefs might be quite powerful. And then if there's ways that you can address that by talking to other professionals, might be quite good. And the other thing is other people's beliefs that has impacted on your pain experience as well. So if you've had a surgeon tell you can't do this, or you'll never be able to ride a bike or a horse again, then that's absolutely going to affect your pain experience. Or they might have said, oh, you've got, a slip disc kind of thing, and you'll never be able to lift again, or, there's some really outdated thoughts and beliefs of other professionals that then become your belief as well. So I think it's just really, really powerful to just consider that as well as part of the picture. And then the last area is around trauma. So trauma and pain are so linked, and I don't think it's discussed enough. It really does have a significant impact on pain. Your mind and your body are so interconnected.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. And your body, there is a resource called the Body Holds Onto Trauma book as well. And it's just being aware that, yeah, your body holds areas of tension or pain or trauma, and that is a real thing. And it's quite incredible.
And having a cancer diagnosis obviously is totally
absolutely one of the most traumatic experiences anyone could experience.
Yeah,
basically. And it's just acknowledging that, because sometimes when you've gone through things, you're either wanting just to move on from it completely, or you're not really wanting to go back and consider those things and heal from those things mentally. Like, it's actually, might be causing sort of micro traumas, sort of thinking about it.
Triggers.
Yeah, but if you really want to look at that whole pain picture, like, if we're just holding in this trauma in our bodies, it isn't a positive experience for our bodies to be doing that as well. So really, just acknowledging and saying, actually, that was a really big deal. Do I need a bit of extra support around this? Some of the things that you could look at is seeking some professional support around that, around the trauma, around counselling, those kind of things. And even, down the track, there might be a significant anniversary or something that might trigger the trauma in a different way, and you've got to rethink about it from a different perspective. And that's still valid, and it's still important to be aware of. There's really great somatic therapies, and that's around the physical signs of how the body interacts and where things might be held in the body, and allowing that release of emotion and things. So that's quite an interesting one, and that personally helped me quite a lot. And there's another therapy called EMDR, which is coming out with a lot of research around it as well, and that uses eye movements, rapid eye movements, to allow individuals to process and recover from trauma and other distressing kind of experiences. So there's probably a million other things out there as well, but we thought we'd just pop that in there just so people can go, oh, actually, I might look into that. That'd be quite significant. Some people have trauma from their past that actually they haven't really dealt with either, and that might be impacting on your pain or impacting on the cancer experience from having this other past trauma as well. So and trauma is so obviously individual, that seeking a specific support for yourself is always the best thing. So summary, all pain comes from your brain. Hopefully you understand that a little bit more and why, but persistent pain is complex. There's so many factors, and we really, really hope that you've got some ideas of things that you can go away with.
Yeah, then it definitely is that whole person approach. You just can't pick and just hope that that'll be the magic thing. You've got to work it on.
And you just got to find what works for you. And like we said, don't give up. There are so many different approaches. Like, we've given some ideas, but there's people that do the chakras and the dry needling, or just so many options out there. And that's our biggest thing. Like, please don't give up. Please consider yeah, that there still might be different options for you, and to keep looking and keep finding what works best for you.
And on that note, where can you get that additional support? Well, in person, obviously, and obviously we're a bit biased,
Yeah,
but we think physiotherapists who have had training in oncology rehabilitation have a very big toolbox that they can use.
But looking at those other professionals like your nutritionalist, that whole picture. Let's go.
And even if that's a starting point, you know, that's the key. Also, we love the idea of group classes, but again, find what kind of thing works for you. And then what we provide are online options with classes and education, and really looking at the main facets that we've discussed here today, and that being the fitness movement idea, mindset, and nutrition.
And I guess the idea is that we're just trying to reduce any barriers to accessing something. So we do have some of our classes, and that's all from easy classes and sitting that you can just do a little bit of and then build up. And we do have a free essentials membership that people can do, and you can access stuff on fatigue management and
we've got classes there as
motivation. We've got example classes and Pilates, and we're always wanting to help, and love to hear any sort of more specific questions that you might have. Oh my gosh, we totally talked way too long.
Rachel.
Thank you, ladies. No, you've done a wonderful job, and I can see there's been lots of comments and lots of questions in there as well. Just one question from me. You talked about that book. I just Googled it. Is it called the Your Body Keeps the Score? Is that the book that you were talking about?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
So I just thought we'd pop that in the chat. So so I'll just pop that in now. So Your Body Keeps the Score. So we'll pop that in case anybody wants to have a look at that and have a read.
Interesting. There's so many parts to pain.
Yeah. And look, there's been lots of thank you very much. There's a couple of people saying I've no idea where to find help, and the what can I do, and maybe would a good start be to look at maybe joining one of your online sessions, or flick you an email and to see if
totally individual. Like we have that as an option for people if they can't get into anywhere, but our classes go from being really, really gentle. We've got our restore class that's also stretch and relaxation, which is beautiful. Like we've obviously trying to emphasize the importance of relaxation. A lot of people don't prioritize it, and we just think it's so important as part of the picture. And definitely come and give it a go if you'd like, and if you want more, then get in touch with us. But otherwise, I think somebody was saying it's good to see a physio 101 if you've got bone mats. If you can.
We also have some online classes for Look Good Feel Better, some body classes as well. So
absolutely, there's the chair yoga and like different things as well, which is so good for that relaxation. And the breathing, you've got beautiful breathing class as well. So we 100% recommend those kind of things.
And I just wanted to say sorry to the people that we haven't, we've just talked too much obviously during the presentation, but we haven't got to those questions that were sent out. So I wonder whether
I think most things we covered. I think there was a specific ones just around.
I think there was a question about postmenopause, and obviously, the hormonal side of things is such a minefield, really, when that becomes involved as part of your cancer treatment. So I think the main things I would say there is to maintain the bone density and muscle mass. The body conditioning is incredibly important, and making sure if your joints are sore and tendons are a bit, tender as such, that you do low impact type of activities. So, things which are hydrotherapy, water-based, cycling rather than running, those sorts of things can help diminish some of the impacts on the joints especially.
And like resistance, like weight.
The strength training,
Strength training for sure.
Get those muscles, resistance type thing. And There was a quote from a recent bit of research that came up that I just felt I had to share this. It was from one of the doctors, I presume, who was involved with this research. And it says it's a bit of a mind shift, thinking of treatment as something you do, not just something you take. And I think that sort of encompasses our whole philosophy with this, in that often we're looking for a solution which comes in a pill form, but it may not exist. And if we can move our bodies, they're remarkably good at recovering, and just the things we put them through, that they can and find a way to heal. And I think that's
body and mind.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's how we want it to be.
Yeah.
You consider these things, and that's something, even if it's a small, very small starting point, but you find the thing that helps you get started, that will be great.
Wonderful, ladies. Thank you very much. And
Thanks for having us.
absolutely so informative. And look, we really appreciate you all joining from around the country. Yeah, I know you will have found lots and lots of tips in there. And of course, the ladies have shared their website as well. So yeah, can you, yeah, they'd love to hear from you. We also have another session next week as well. So please jump on our website and register. We'd love to see you come along as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Stay warm wherever you are throughout the country. And we very much look forward to seeing you again. Ka kite.